Let me pull that up.
We are live. Woo!
What's up?
All right, guys.
You're live.
So I got a special guest in the group right now, Jordan Steen. Let me actually just pull up the live. I'm refreshing the Facebook group to find it in here. But yeah, guys, I'm super pumped. If you guys don't know Jordan, the guy's been crushing it. Not just starting in Facebook ads. I saw you whenever you first landed. I think it was the bars or the clubs. It was the clubs.
Yeah, we were trying to work with some clubs back when we first started clubs. And let me turn
I got
this
a special guest.
There we go. Sorry, I had my volume on from yours. I wanted to make sure I had this up too. But yeah, we started working with clubs at first. Then we went into, obviously we took on a couple restaurants. And then my biggest thing was, and, obviously we teach a lot, picking a niche and honing in on that niche and becoming an expert. And the thing was, for me at least, each entrepreneur is different, right? We're all going to have a different experience based on our past experiences and based on what we're going through right now. So we just started breaking out really, really quickly. And just simply because I had done this already for like 2 to 3 years prior to me ever starting my actual agency and doing it on my own. So we started, with the clubs and then took it off to as many different types of businesses as we could, really because we wanted to get experiences in all of the different industries and figure out which ones we really vibed with the most. So when it came time to scale, we knew exactly who we were going to target. So, but yeah, it's been fun to say the least.
Yeah, man, it's been fun to watch your growth because did you start your channel like a year and a half ago? So first of all, guys, let me just let you know the people I bring in this group are all higher level entrepreneurs that we can all be learning from. And a lot of them, I've been watching you guys come up as well. I think I started in this about a year and a half ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you had just launched a YouTube page like 2 years ago or something like that.
A little over 2 years ago now that we started it. And what's funny is I actually got a call, and I hate bringing this up, but I got a call from one of Ty Lopez's customer service reps, and they were trying to sell me on all of this, all these new things coming up and figure out if there's anything you could do better or whatever. And I just flat out told them, I was like, look, guys, the only reason I even bought the course was just so I could see what my competition was going to look like if I started doing my own thing, and to see if there was anything I could learn, because I knew Ty Lopez was a smart guy. You can't knock that, but I knew that it wasn't going to be the course that everybody really needed to get everything they wanted out of the marketing agency experience. So from there, we decided, okay, there's definitely some room for improvement as far as the teaching is concerned. And to be honest, YouTube was just the easiest platform to go off of because Ty Lopez was creating such a buzz, for free, basically. I was riding his buzz for free because I knew he was spending the ad revenue. Now, all I had to do was target the keywords that people were searching for, because Ty Lopez didn't have a content strategy. He's all ad driven. His content strategy is more lifestyle content instead of, direct training like you and I do a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. I was like, okay, well, he can spend the ad dollars and I can just sit here and create content about how to do it, except do it better than he did. And we can obviously build a brand out of that. So then it kind of came by accident, but at the same time, it was kind of it's I don't want to say I 100% planned it to go exactly this way, because I don't think any business venture ever is planned like that. I mean, you have ideas, but we kind of thought we had this really cool thing, and then it ended up being this really cool thing that we never even thought was going to happen. I never saw myself as a teacher. So, but yeah, it's been an incredible journey over the last, 2.5 years. This year has been the craziest year of them all. And it's because of all the changes in our company internally, and I'm sure you're starting to see a lot of this now with scaling operations and making sure that your quality of work remains the same as it was when you were doing it, because when you're doing it, it's the best quality you can get, right? And then you start handing things off and it's like, okay, well, I have to make sure that every single thing that we do has a process now. Like if it's someone taking a vacation, I need to have a process in place to make sure that whoever's taking a vacation has all of their work passed off. They know what their responsibilities and duties are. They know how much they're getting paid if it's a contractor, right? So there's a lot that we have to do, when you start growing. And it's just, this year has been really incredible from experience, getting to learn how to grow that to that 7-figure agency, to all the way to, just being able to humble yourself again and say, okay, because I didn't really ever get into heavy operation side of things when I was running companies. I was more in the marketing, bootstrapping, entrepreneurship type. But now I'm getting to learn a lot about, big time operations, and it's really, really cool and a really neat experience to have.
So guys, I love this. First of all, I love how quick this transition. Because everyone I've been having on this channel, I mean, everyone here is a high 6-level, 7-figure earner. We have some 8-figure earners on the channel, and we hear the same thing in terms of progression. I've been noticing that too. Year one, man, and I don't know if you can agree with this, but year one, I mean, you can trip your way into 6 figures.
Oh yeah, easy.
And that's what happened with me. Like, I just tripped my way into like doing like $250,000 in year one. And now it's like, as you scale to that 7-figure range, it is about not just like, how can you get the quality to stay the same, but the delegation and like how to delegate properly. Because people hear this whole outsourcing thing, they don't really understand it.
The complexity of it, because outsourcing in itself is easy. From a general concept, it's I have work, I pass work to you, you complete work, I get back product, right? That's simple. Right. But when you look at a marketing campaign, let's just look at, just SEO. If I hire someone to do, and this is where a lot of agency owners mess up. They say, well, I'm just going to go hire a guy who knows SEO. Okay, now do SEO for me. No, that's not how you, number one, how you effectively market. And number two, it's not how you delegate responsibilities and tasks, right? And that's why I tell people, you can learn, and yes, you are going to outsource this, but if you don't learn the deeper intricacies of digital marketing and how that all really works, then you're not going to be able to delegate that work properly to where you're getting the result that you're expecting. And then people blame the people they're outsourcing to, the contractor, for not doing a good job, when it's really your instructions weren't up to par, and that's why you didn't get the result you were looking for. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really weird, I think, because you think it's just going to be so cut and dry, and then when you start actually doing it, you realize, okay, no, there's a lot of steps that I need to make sure are in place before we can actually make this work right. And if I don't, my business will fail, or somebody else will take my customers because they can do it that way.
Yep. Yeah, exactly, man. And guys, if you're watching this, first of all, #live. The only thing I ask you for like bringing on these awesome guests and dropping the hot value is that you help us expand the reach to get to more people. So let's work with the algorithm. #live, you're on right now. Jessica, what's up? I'll see you at the event next week, by the way. So anyway, guys, here's what we want to do. We kind of fast forward. We're talking about all the stuff that like I feel like I get in a deep conversation with Jordan with right now, which I definitely want to, and we will.
Right.
But let's backpedal a little bit, because in a Facebook group, as you probably know, like we have all sorts of level here. Right. And we want to make sure that we could address where it started, man.
Okay.
Like sure. where it started for you. So break it down, bro. Like, tell me the origin.
The origin, we'll go way back to when I was like 6 years old in the shower. And
wait a second.
Oh yeah, it's about to get good. It's about to get real good here. But no, seriously, I'm in the shower, and for some reason, I didn't know that shampoo and conditioner was a thing, right? So long story short, I basically took them, put them in one bottle, and I was just a kid. I hated taking showers, so I was like, fuck yeah, I just saved like 15 minutes because I didn't have to wash both or do both steps. I did it all in one. So I run out of the shower. I'm like, Mom, I have the best idea ever. We need to make a shampoo and conditioner in one. She goes, Jordan, I'm sorry, honey, but that already exists. And in my mind, I'm sitting there like, I'm going to be the next, millionaire. Like, I'm going to be the next youngest millionaire, or the youngest millionaire to ever be self-made. Well, needless to say, that didn't end up happening, but that was really the spark in my entrepreneurial spirit, right? And so I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Over time in high school, we started doing more of the multi-level marketing businesses like Monavi and the Cutco knives and all that stuff, right? That everybody kind of gets into. And it was great because it taught me a lot about the basics of running a business and what you really need to do. And before even that, I was selling candy in middle school, and that, so I've always known I was going to be an entrepreneur. And so one year, me and my buddies sit down and we're like, all right, let's get out of all of this stuff. We're in college at this point, and let's build something real. And so we started to develop a phone app. Back when phone apps were getting really, really popular. This was before like everybody was making apps. And we went on and we made an app for our college where basically you had walking directions right to the front door of your classroom. So we got rid of all the maps. You could do it on an app on your phone. It would get you right to your front door. All you had to do is put in the classroom. And so that was really cool. We started selling that, or not selling that, but really building out that idea and trying to get investors involved because we were just college kids, no money whatsoever. Like we were just trying to get something going, and we had this awesome business. Well, I'm not a software developer at all. Like I do not code, but I was the business, the marketing, the entrepreneurial, the creative side of the business. And so that's where I really started getting into digital marketing. That was my first taste of it, really. Even actually, I would say really it was when I was doing the multi-level marketing. That was like MySpace, which was completely different style. It was just like messaging everyone. But then Facebook came along. And so that's where we started marketing. And this is before Facebook even had business pages. So what we would do is we would create a personal profile, build that out to be a business page, essentially. And we would reach out to people and try to add them as friends and do it more of an organic guerrilla marketing kind of way. But back then, organic reach was 25% to 45% of everybody in your friends list. Right now, it's like 0.5%. So yeah, really, really big difference there. So it made a huge difference when trying to grow our businesses. We could grow a business really fast and for free. It really just cost us time, right? So then we started working on it more. Facebook started to come out with business pages. I started to dive into that as soon as it came out. Then that introduced me into things like email automation, building websites. I started learning more about SEO and how to rank on search engines. I never really got too heavy into PPC myself just because I knew what that was. And it's the most boring form of digital marketing ever, even though it's super lucrative. But I did at least start to play around with it and build some campaigns. So at least I knew a little bit about the basics, right? Started looking into analytics. And then finally, I get out of college and I got a job offer. Actually, I didn't even graduate college. I went to college for 5 years, didn't even graduate. I got a job offer when I was 20. I know my mom still hates me for it today. But I got a job offer. I was like 23 years old. They were going to pay me 75 grand a year to move down to Jacksonville and start running marketing campaigns and selling marketing campaigns to businesses. Nice. And this was a TV station. It was a news station owned by Gannett, so one of the biggest marketing or media companies out there. They're only second to Cox Media, which a lot of you are probably familiar with Cox Media. But we started working for them, and we were dealing with clients in the Jacksonville market. My average client was anywhere from 10K spend to 250K spend per year. And so we were, really it got me into a whole different world of marketing where I could start to learn about not only more digital marketing, because I got tons and I was the only young guy in the office who actually understood what digital marketing was. Everybody else in there was like 45 plus. And, it's still a new concept. So they had no clue. But then I got to learn about TV. All of that developed into me learning a ton, them spending a ton of money and time and training me to be more efficient at digital marketing. And I started to my sales manager started getting pissed because I completely started to disregard TV ads and spot marketing, even though that was a huge thing I was supposed to be selling. And I was just going out trying to sell everybody digital and trying to put together digital campaigns for everybody. And so that really is where I started to find my passion for it. They didn't want to promote me to digital sales manager when they fired the digital sales manager there, even though I was running the 19-person sales meeting and training meeting for digital marketing. She didn't even understand half the stuff. So I was 23. They didn't want, or 24 at the time. They didn't want to promote me. So I came back to Atlanta, spent about a year and a half doing a detailing business where I was able to grow that business from zero to $125,000 of revenue in the first year, just using social media marketing. I was like, wow, I'm actually really good at social media marketing and I'm busting my ass over here every day. So I was like, I could just transition. And then Ty Lopez came along. It was all just it seemed to be perfect timing for everything. And so since then, we've started, obviously, the brand Serial Entrepreneur. We now have over 1,200 students in our programs. Several students. I actually had a student call me a month ago. She's getting an acquisition offer for 7 figures to buy out her agency. She's only been running it for 2.5 years now. But she's, yeah, dude. And we get stories like this all the time. So it's just been amazing not only with myself, but all of my students. Like, there are so many people who reach out to me now and they're like, yo, Jordan, I'm making 15K a month now. And I never would have even thought about this opportunity until I saw something that you put together. And it's just, for me, that's really the coolest thing, is affecting other people's lives, where like I see them on, like, we're friends on Facebook now, and he'll post pictures with him and his son doing stuff on the weekends because he can afford to do it. And he's loving his lifestyle now because he gets to spend more time with his kids. So, to see that effect that I've had on somebody else's life really just hits home for me and makes me want to, try as hard as I possibly can to get as many people to see that it is possible if you bust your ass for it. I'm not going to say it's easy, because I hate when people say that, SMMA is just easy. You can easily make 6 figures. And yes, it is easy to make 6 figures, but it is hard work to get there. The general concept of making six figures is super easy. $8,333.33 per month for 12 months. Simple, right? Not that complicated. But how do you generate that money? That's where the real work comes in, and that's where people don't really, put in their full effort where they should be.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And okay, so I love a couple things. I just want to kind of backpedal a little bit.
Sure.
So, guys, for anyone listening to this story right now, it's not just enough to be able to see like, oh shit, so that's where Jordan started. He just hasn't been here speaking on stage and being a big, a YouTuber and this stuff forever. Like, if you guys heard him, the beginning of his story, first of all, Jordan, you saw opportunity and you piggybacked. So right. I really, really admire that in entrepreneurs that move quickly, because success does love speed. But more importantly, your vision needs to be open to opportunity.
Right.
And what you did, and now we started talking about this first, we got like way ahead, and I just realized, oh shit, we should probably start from the beginning. But you started piggybacking. And first of all, more people are doing this now on YouTube. And guys, you could look up that term later, or I guess just to describe it quickly, like you're basically like you're seeing what somebody else is doing and you're using keywords to piggyback on the traffic. And that wasn't a thing though when you started doing it. Like, it wasn't a big thing.
Right.
So it's really cool that you caught onto that quickly. But more importantly, your students are having success. And what I love about course creators and mentors, real ones, is that we're constantly focusing on the actual product.
Real ones. I love that you said real ones, because that is important. But yeah, we focus on the product and making sure that the product is actually useful. That's what I think that Tai Lopez had a great foundation for people to understand the opportunity, but I don't think it was enough information to teach them all they're going to want to know about running that business, because there's a lot more than just like, I don't know, I'm not going to go directly into specifics, but there were just trainings in there where I'm like, well, there are still thousands of other things about this one topic you didn't even cover that are super important to know if you're going to try and sell that service. And I think that it set a lot of people up for failure, because they didn't really understand what they were selling. They're going out selling SEO without a clue of what SEO really is or how it really works to make it improve. Yes, we know it's about search engines and optimizing your site to show up in rankings, but how do you do that, right? And that's where I feel like he was letting people down, which would hurt them in trying to start their own agency. So again, that's where we came back and we were like, all right, well, we can just piggyback off his traffic, but make the content better, and we should succeed. And that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, I remember watching some of your videos where you're like breaking down, like, guys, this is going to be it. And you're like literally breaking down each little gap that you saw, and you're creating the content around it. And I can definitely vouch for that too, guys. Anytime you want to do something successful, look at the market and find out where the gaps are, and then create a solution around it.
Right.
And because I know that's how I created my products too. I noticed there's a big gap in the market, create a solution around it.
Right. And you put in a really great product too, because it's literally, you see all these people, okay, well, we're having trouble putting together the campaigns. I just want to go out there and get clients because I can do that, but I don't really understand the digital marketing side of it. So here you go. We'll do that side. You go get us clients and we'll both be happy. Right. So yeah, I mean, that is, and that's, I like what you said, because it is about taking it. I look at it more as taking a risk and believing in yourself, because that's really what it is. You have to act fast, but at the same time, you have to have confidence in yourself to be able to take that step. And a lot of people I see too many people who write me a message and they're like, well, I just haven't started yet. Okay. How long have you been trying to do this? Oh, about 6 months. Why the hell haven't you started? I'm just trying to get all my plans in place. Dude, you're starting from the ground up. You cannot get all the plans in place. There's no way. Like, that's why I hate traditional business plans. We do a 1-page business plan anytime we start a business, because there's no point, because by the time you get that business plan done, you've already had things change and you have to make adjustments to that business plan. So stop worrying about, having a plan. You have to plan. I'm not saying don't do that, but if you're sitting there for 6 months and you still haven't actually done anything, then you're not doing it the right way. You have to actually take that step, build up some confidence, believe in yourself, and then move forward with it.
Yeah. And in terms of, man, yes. So I actually got off a call earlier today with a new student that just came on. And when it comes down to it, like, you can't have that huge plan layout, because you and I are realizing now, and I have a lot of friends that, started a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that are in the same spot, getting closer to the 7-figure range and building operations. And if you were to try to build all that when I first, if I tried to build all that when I first started, I would have been first of all, I didn't have the money, because I have to pay an operations person $3 to $6 grand a month. I wouldn't have had that's just one person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the resource. I wouldn't have understood how to create SOPs for somebody to be able to train people to bring on. That stuff's crazy. So don't even worry about it. Like I said, you can trip your way into making more than you do at your 9 to 5.
And I like what you said too. You said you pay your ops guy $3 to $6 grand. How much per month?
Per month.
Yeah. Which means what? That means operations are never staying the same. Your operations are even changing. I have the same thing. I pay my guy $5 grand a month. He's actually Ted, the guy who started the company. Well, he didn't really start it with me. He came in later after I had already built the brand. He's just one of my good friends from college. Anyways, he came in as an ops manager, started paying him $5K a month because, number one, I knew he was great at operations and understood processes, and he's very analytical and detailed. But it has changed now 15 different times. And sometimes it's a complete rework of a process, which it drastically affects, how much you spend on all of the contractors that you have in that task or in that process, the time, how quickly you can actually get that job done. We've cut down on lead times by 75% from when we started, using the processes that we have in place now and the softwares that we have in place now to do that. But like you said, there was no way when I first started that I was going to be able to afford it, because it's I think we spent $4 grand just on the process management software this year. So I didn't have $4 grand to blow on that. I didn't have an ops manager salary to pay. That's another $5 grand a month, so you just don't, and you don't have the time. You do not have the time to do every single thing. So you have to get what you need to go right now in order, and then make the move, start generating revenue, and make improvements as you go. That's the only way you can really do this whole game.
Yeah, you guys just got to jump and then figure it out on the way down. And with guidance.
Exactly. And that's why people like us are so crucial, because it takes away all of that time that you would spend. Okay, well, I'm going to go try and build out every process. When you have people like us telling you, don't go do that. You don't have time to do that. And you don't really need to do that yet. You're not at that point, right? So what I recommend is, if you're going to go out and run your agency, try and focus on a few services at first, right? Don't necessarily take on every service under the sun. Don't do email marketing and automation and then go build out processes for it and then realize, well, we're working with local businesses who hardly ever use email automation, so that service is kind of obsolete, and we spent 20 hours trying to develop that service for our clients. Really, you should be focusing on PPC, SEO, social remarketing, social content marketing, and a website marketing. That's pretty much it. To run local businesses, focus on those 5 things, and you can build a really successful agency, build out processes for those, and move forward. But a lot of people I think they get so overwhelmed with everything that's out there that it kind of becomes foggy as to what they should do.
Yeah, so I have my own way of doing this, but I love to hear everyone's perspective and how they approach it. So in the terms of presenting an option or a solution for the customer, do you have a go-to in the terms of services, or do you just let the customer know that basically you're going to take care of them and not get lost in the weeds with the service? How do you go about that?
I'm kind of confused. So do you mean if they want something done, do I present a specific service or do I present a solution?
A specific service. And the reason why I ask is because I want to piggyback off of what you just said, where people are so lost in the weeds with what services are, and they don't really too overwhelmed, and everybody's like, do I sell Google ads or Facebook ads? So how do you deliver what the customer should be doing?
So that's the thing. I think you have to look at it like this. If you're going to go into a client and you're a new agency, you have to pick a specific service that you're going to offer, right? At least one, right? Or otherwise you're not selling anything. But that should be either SEO, PPC, Facebook and Instagram remarketing, or website marketing. That's pretty much the four if you don't include, social content marketing, because I still wouldn't even do that if it's for a local business. Organic content is nothing without ads. So really, you don't need organic content for a ton of local businesses. What I would say is you have to focus on the fact that those are the four that mean anything. So if you're going to focus on selling a service, start with one that's actually going to be beneficial for most local businesses, which I would recommend SEO, because every local business needs local search traffic. They need to show up in maps. They need to have reviews shown. That will generate more traffic than any other type of advertising will for a local business, in my opinion. So I'd focus on that. But really, I like focusing more on a solution to a problem they're having than trying to sell a service. That's why I think our agency does really well, and I think it's why our students kind of get it when we teach it to them like that, because we don't like to just say, okay, well, we're just going to sell you SEO. And if you're just an SEO sales agency, that's fine. Focus on your one service, become really great at that, and partner with other agencies to fill the gaps. But we like to do the solution approach, so that way we can do all of the campaigns. So we would go in and say, okay, we're going to do SEO for you, but before we can do that, we need to optimize and kind of refresh your website. So we're going to do a redesign really quick. We're going to optimize all your titles, tags, all of your keyword selection, your page hierarchy, your page breakdown, everything for your site. We're going to optimize that first. Then we're going to start working on external SEO, so local SEO, offsite SEO, making sure social sites are set up properly and have all their listings done. Then once we have that done, we're going to focus on remarketing, all right? Because we can drive all that traffic to your site. But again, if you know anything about Jeffrey Lance rule of 7, you have to hit someone a minimum of 7 times in a period of 18 months for them to be able to recall your brand, right? And in a local market, it's all about brand recall. If you're not top of mind in a local market or local business setting, or local geographical area, you're not going to get as many customers as your competitors. If they're showing up more than you are, you're not there. If they're the ones who are remembered more than you are, you're not going to be there. So that's what it's all about. SEO to drive that traffic in, or PPC if they have the budget, right? Because it is expensive for PPC. SEO to drive traffic, Facebook and Instagram for remarketing to make sure they come back to that site, or give them a reason to, reach out or set that appointment or do that phone call, whatever. And then a great website to finally get them to convert, or landing page, whatever you're using to drive those leads in for that business. And I know that was probably a little bit more complex than what you were wanting, but I don't know. I have a hard time only selling or only approaching a client and selling a single service, unless they already have like I was doing a presentation the other day, and this client already had SEO, they had PPC, they had a great website. They just didn't have any remarketing in the middle to drive people back to that site. So we were trying to focus on just doing Facebook and Instagram remarketing for them. That's the only time I would really only sell a service, is if they're taken care of in the other areas that they should be taken care of.
Yeah, so a lot of things there, guys. So number one, understand the difference between local and nationwide marketing, because initiatives will be different, and understand what's important to the customer to begin with. I love that you don't sell one thing, and that you're looking for the solution. The other thing too is that if you guys are going after the right types of customers, because when I first started my agency, this was January of 18, I realized that some of these big companies weren't doing that retargeting traffic. So for you to use that example, it was mind-boggling to me that was the case, because we showed a much larger return for much less cost for just bringing people back.
Yep.
So if you guys can understand the basic concepts of this, it becomes easier to do, but also figure out where their gaps are in their business. When you start thinking like a business owner and talking to someone else like a business owner, they start realizing, oh shit, they get business.
Right.
That makes sense. And it's funny, because I think I saw one of your videos before. That was the first time maybe think about it. I think you were putting together a large presentation or something on one of your YouTube videos, and you were showing it to them, and you were just trying to break down what they weren't doing and showing them how these things were going to work in there. I think I saw one of your videos or something a year ago or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, that's the message to send. And obviously it works well. You can see, like, I've never talked to Jordan about business like this before, but everybody does this.
Yep.
This is a normal thing.
Right. And I think, like I said, I think it's interesting to focus on a solution because that's what business owners want. They don't want you to come in and drive traffic if it's not going to buy anything. Like, what's the point of me getting all this traffic if they're not going to purchase anything? I don't care. Like, that doesn't help my business. So, that's great that they're coming in and they might like the product, but I need people who are going to buy. And to do that, you have to take the necessary steps. And when you can go into a business owner and say, hey, here's where you have these 3 things going, and this is why you're not getting as much or as high of a return on your investment as you could be getting, they start to get really interested and willing to talk to you and open to talking to you about making more money. And as you guys get better at digital marketing, you'll understand how to put these concepts together, because like Rob just said, with local and national marketing, you have a completely different strategy. Local is nowhere near the strategy that national or even regional marketing is. And when you know that, you know what services fit with what business. I like to go into this example in our serial entrepreneur course, and I've even done some public training on it too. But I've broken it down into for local businesses, you have a professional niche of businesses, and then you have what I call the pleasure or entertainment niche of businesses, right? Professional businesses. These businesses, what a lot of the time people do is they try to go in and sell them Facebook and Instagram ads. But when is the last time you were sitting on Facebook and you were scrolling through and you're like, oh, I need that criminal attorney? Probably never. Why? Because you don't need a criminal attorney until you need a criminal attorney, which only happens if you get arrested or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So why else? Oh, I'm just going to save this criminal attorney for later. No, nobody's doing that, right? So where would that criminal attorney be better suited to spend that ad budget? Pay-per-click. Why? Because when I look for a criminal attorney, it's when I'm needing it, right? I'm not going to go online and look for a criminal attorney unless I'm doing a book report, or I'm trying to find a criminal attorney for me to use because I got in trouble, right? So more than not, it's going to be people looking for a criminal attorney at that time, which is going to yield a lot better result. Whereas if you put that ad budget on Facebook and Instagram, the only thing that I would recommend doing on Facebook and Instagram for that criminal attorney, remarketing. Why? Because it's a place where we can talk to them and they've already visited our site. So it makes a lot more sense. We're not just sending them a random ad saying, hey, come use our criminal attorney services. So there's the professional service side, but then there's the pleasure and entertainment side of businesses, which is like hair salons, gyms, restaurants, where the content that they actually can create and put out there is a little more entertaining. So we're referring not to the style of business, but really to the content that the business would have to create, right?
Yep.
Looking at it like that kind of tells you, okay, well, if this is a professional style business, we should focus on SEO, PPC. That's going to drive traffic to the site. Whereas if we have a more entertainment or pleasure style business like a hair salon or a gym, we could actually use social as a cold traffic generator, right? It just kind of depends on the business. And the more you get into understanding digital marketing, the more you'll start to understand how the strategies connect, right?
And so there's a question here, which I'll answer in a second, but just to kind of branch off of that, I've talked to, small local companies to Fortune 500 alike, and the difference in what you need to know, guys, you need to understand your audience. If your audience doesn't understand a fucking word of what Jordan just said, do not confuse them, because a confused buyer always says no. But what Jordan presents, that's why you can sell $10,000 packages, is because everything he's presenting right now is finding the entire gap. You become their marketing department.
Right. And those are the kind of companies I look for. And that's the other thing. You have to understand, who are you actually, like you said, who is your audience? Am I talking to a business that they're going to be able to afford $2,000 a month and I can't do everything in that whole, and that's the thing. You can't force it to work either. If a company has $2,000 and they need me to do a new website, SEO, and Facebook and Instagram remarketing, we're not going to be able to fit all of that with $2,000 a month, right? So we'll have to work that job in pieces. We'll probably do the website over the first month. That'll be $2,000. And honestly, it might leak into the second month. And then once we get the website optimized and ready to where we can actually market it, then we'll start working on maybe SEO and Facebook ads after that. But even that's going to be a tight budget with only $1,000 for SEO and maybe $1,000 for Facebook and Instagram remarketing. So yeah, it's all about knowing the audience and understanding who you're selling to, but then knowing how to sell that service to them.
Yeah. So this question from Guillermo. Sorry if I pronounced that
wrong. It's Guillermo.
Oh, not touche. So I think you and I will probably have different answers to this. So what I want to do, so I'll tell you what, I want you to answer this first. I think I'm gonna have a different answer to it, but he said, shouldn't you focus on just one service to get rid of complexity and really master it? So I want to answer that
And
first.
see, that's the thing. I could go both ways with this, because I believe that if you can get really great at a service like PPC or SEO, and that's all you focus on, you will master it. You will become really great at it, which means you can charge higher hourly rates for it. So I think it really is down to the person. If you don't like for things to get, and my answers actually changed on this, because at first I did believe, because that's what I believe, right? And that's what I do. And I said, you should learn every service out there. I think over time, maybe that would be beneficial if you're trying to run a comprehensive agency. But I like Ruan Marino, one of my good buddies, who only does SEO. That's it. He actually does more now. He'll do Facebook and Instagram remarketing. They build landing pages and websites. But his primary service was selling SEO to start. And he did obviously really, really well with that. And he's still doing really well. So I think that's a great way to go, focusing on only one. What I can say is, if you're comfortable, or maybe you already have some experience with, a lot of people that I've met or have in the past been web designers, or they're already a video editor, or, they already have some experience in this space, where it would make it easier for them to learn only a few other concepts instead of every other concept, right? So I think it kind of depends on the person. I can't say that it's best for you to do it one way and one way only. I think that it really comes down to who you are, your past experiences, and how much time and effort you're really willing to put into learning the material. Because if you're going to go for it all, you need a lot of time and effort, a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess I'll just fall back on what we said before, knowing your audience. Because for me, like, depending on who I'm selling, I won't even talk about the actual marketing. I just focus so much on the bottlenecks and then building the rapport that they just are willing to work with me. And I let them know ahead of time, like, we're not going to get lost in the weeds. If I tell you everything, you're just going to be confused. And if you're anything like me, a confused buyer always says no. And I wouldn't buy it from you if you did it to me. So why should you buy from me?
Right.
And I was like, do you trust me? And that's usually where the conversation goes. But if they are, like, I remember selling YRC Freight. They were a big trucking company. And we had to go into detail. Right. And we had to go into all the moving pieces. So I'll just say I don't even like selling a service unless I absolutely have to, and if I have no other choice but to explain it.
Exactly. Okay, so I see what you're saying now, actually focusing on selling the actual service instead of focusing. And I actually have a training on that. It's literally in my course. Focusing on the solution, not the service, is the name of the lesson. Because that's where I love what you said. It's about the bottleneck and making them trust you. If you can point out, here's where you're not converting, and here's why you aren't converting. Here's where you could improve that conversion by doing this simple thing. That's it. And then from there, it's just building rapport, like you said. So, talking to them, finding out their interests. And that's what I think a lot of people miss out on, is they go in and they're like, all right, so here's what I think you should be doing with your marketing campaign. When in reality, you should be asking, why is it that you want to improve your marketing? Are you trying to grow your business because you want to open another location? Are you just trying to build your business more so you can hire more employees so you can go stay at home with the kids and wife more, or husband more, whatever it is? Finding out what really matters to them as a person, as a human being, not as a business owner, because ultimately we all run our businesses to improve our personal life, unless you're just a workaholic, which that's a different case. But most of us are just running a business to improve our personal life. We want to be able to do the things we want to do when we want to do them. And to do that, you have to make more money. So finding the reason why they want more money, and then kind of honing in on that and building your campaign and your conversation around the fact that they told you they want to make more money so that way they can hire another employee, right? That is what I'm gonna focus on. That if they give me an objection, yeah, but I just don't know if we can do this. That's quite a lot of money. I completely understand that, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner. I can definitely tell you, or I see how that would look like a lot of money. But you did tell me that you wanted to hire that new person so you could start off the year not having to go straight to the books every day, right? So if we want to do that, we have to improve this little bottleneck right here, this little sales page, or right here where you're not getting traffic or you're not converting. And if we can improve that by just 2%, you're going to be making enough to be able to pay that person that you need, right? And so it's about focusing on the problem that they told you they have and the things that they desire out of their personal life. And when you bring those two things together, you're going to find a happy person who wants to buy.
Yep. So, dude, you know what? I want to spin this because we have like 15 minutes before the hour. This went by really fast. I don't know what happened, but let's spin this a little bit because everyone that's watching this, and this will go on YouTube too. So if you're watching on YouTube, I understand that I get this question a lot. But as you're scaling your business, what does your life look like now in the terms of what obstacles are you running into in like your free time, like being able to like what's the best way to put this? Smell the flowers, right? To be able to like enjoy the fruits of your labor. So what challenges are you facing now as you scale up to the 7-figure range?
Honestly, my biggest challenge now is, and this is complete honesty, trying to manage my free time with my work time better has been a big challenge for me because I really enjoy my free time, and I don't, as social as I may seem, I don't sit on social media all day, and I hate it. Like, I don't want to sit on Facebook. I'd rather be in the moment and enjoying things with my friends and my family and just going places, doing things that are fun. So I get caught up in that sometimes to where like it'll affect my professional side of me that is like, Jordan, that you don't have the time yet. I'm not in a position yet to just completely step away. My business still does depend on me right now, right? And I'm not also making the revenue that I would like to make because that's not as much as I want to make. I want to make 8 figures at least before this is all said and done. That's my real goal. I don't have to make 9 figures to be happy, though if that happens, great. But if I can make 8 figures, that is really the goal that I'm striving to get to. And so to get there, I know that I can't keep sitting on this whole I can just do what I want mentality, even though I know I could. It's just not going to progress me to where I want to reach. So it's finding that real balance when you start to make money where you can afford to do all these things now. You're racking up sky miles because you're putting everything on credit cards and paying them off every month. So you're just racking them up and you can afford all these vacations and do all these things, which is great, especially when you come from a life where that wasn't a big thing growing up. You're finally getting to experience all that. So it's finding that balance, I think, has been the hardest part for me in scaling and making sure that I don't get too overwhelmed with just wanting to have a great time and enjoy my life and family and friends, and making sure that I still put enough time into the professional bucket. I think that's been my biggest struggle this year, but it's something that I've been at least trying to get better at managing my free time outside of work and making sure that some of it is actually put to productive use, like professionally or educationally, instead of just, all right, well, I've got this free time, I'm going to go see someone or do something, So that's been my biggest struggle, I think, this year.
Dude, I love that transparency, man. And these are the things I really love talking about on these lives because the business side of stuff is really awesome, but we have so much of that on our YouTube channels. I feel like people can go there and find that from us already. These are the real things, guys. And when you're in a business, I love debunking this smoke screen of like, he's making 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month. Really, at the end of the day, though, that's like nothing. I love what you said when you're like, I'm not at the point where I can do that and take my time away from work, because it's not about the money you're making. It's about, is it systemized to walk away?
Right. Will it be the same when you're not there? Because that's the only thing that matters about a business. If your business, at least with a, what am I trying to say? A business where you don't have to be there to make money. Residual income, a residual income style of business. I don't know why I couldn't get that. A residual income style of business requires your business to be able to run without you there. And if you don't have the systems in place for it to run without you there, it will fail, right? So, and that's the thing I realized very quickly, and it didn't last forever. That feeling of just only wanting to say, okay, I don't want to work today. That feeling didn't last forever. It came and went very quickly, but it was also something that I realized, and you have to be able to do internally. I think a lot of people stop being real with themselves, or they're building up this facade inside their head saying they're just the greatest ever, when really they haven't even taken the first baby steps to do what they need to do. And so that's something I love to do with myself is, a inventory of myself on a regular basis to try and figure out, okay, are you really doing what you want to do? And are you doing what you should be doing? Right. And make those adjustments there. But if you're not real with yourself, if you're not willing to admit your faults or admit where you've done wrong, you're never going to be a successful entrepreneur, because the only successful entrepreneurs have that trait. you will not be a successful entrepreneur if you can't look inwardly and make improvements to yourself and be real with yourself.
Dude, that's it right there. Because like, that's when it became harder for me, is whenever I started to realize, oh shit, like, I guess I don't really understand my whys, because if I say yes to something, what am I saying no to?
Right.
And like, to really understand, why am I doing this? Because when you start hitting a certain revenue milestone and you can live a life where you're not worried about bills,
you become complacent
and confused. Like, I was very confused. So,
yeah.
And I see a lot of my friends when they started scaling. It's so funny because it's like the same numbers for everybody. Like, they were scaling from like 20 to 50 grand a month, and life got easier, and then they would hit like a depression because they don't know
exactly. Yeah, and you're not used to it. You kind of, I think what happened with me is I kind of had almost this self-doubt come about, where I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make it to 100K a month. And then you start doing it and you're like, holy shit. And every time I hit a new milestone, I don't know why, but there's this period where you have, and it's not like a lack of confidence, because I totally know I can, but there's still like this in the back of your mind thing going on that says, no, you're not going to do it. You're not going to make it. And I don't know why or where it comes from or anything like that, but it is freaky, because you completely have confidence until you get to the point where you're almost there. And then you're like, it's not going to happen. Something wrong's going to happen and everything's just going to be fucked and I'm never going to make it. And then you do it and you surprise yourself. You're like, holy shit, I did it. You know, I don't know. I think there's a lot to it, but yeah, I think it really is around the like 50K mark. When you start making that first 50K a month and then you start doing it consistently, you're like, all right, should I keep working? Like, is this really a thing? Like, this is really a business now. Oh shit. Like, I need insurance.
Yeah, dude, that's what's up, man. I love hearing about the different milestones and everyone feeling the same way. And guys, these are the real things in entrepreneurship to look for. Right. You start to grow. Yes, land your first couple clients, so this way you could quit your 9-to-5. But then after that, start realizing you need to figure out your identity, figure out what you want in life, and then be able to grow in that with your business.
And how you can take your time away from work and putting more of it into personal without it being a negative thing. Because it can be a negative thing, and doing it too soon, like we were just talking about, can have negative effects. So that's the thing. Understanding when is the right time to start pulling yourself away from the business. And I learned very quickly, it is not when you don't have all of the processes in place and you need a process for everything. If somebody has to go take a piss, you better have a process in place for them.
I'm missing that one. Actually.
Yeah, I know, right? Dude, that's what I'm saying. That, like, the more I look at it, I'm like, holy crap. Like, say I wanted to get coffee for the office. I don't want to have to be the one that sits there and takes care of ordering coffee for the office. You know, I'll pay for it, but I have other things that I'd much rather spend my time on, because I know it is better invested there and I could pay someone to order coffee for me. So, you know, it's like making sure, okay, make sure this person knows to order the coffee. Like, and not everything is documented, but there is literally a process for everything in your business. That's what I've learned this year, and it is intense. But
dude, so I don't know if this happened to you, because I know we're coming to the close here, but I just want to share an experience with people, and I'd love to hear if this has ever happened to you. And for everyone listening to this, this is the real shit behind the scenes that goes down in businesses growing. But I know for me, bro, in January, I remember I tried to build a team too quickly.
Yep.
And I didn't understand it. Like you just said, you want to do it too quickly. So I remember doing 42 grand in January. I went negative $3,000 in January. And like, I built the team too quick. I did the office. I bought like all the new programs, the softwares, and like had all this stuff, got new mentors. I went negative that month.
Yep.
And so I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but I want people to listen to this.
Oh yeah, it has totally happened. Like, because that was the thing. I had built so many digital marketing campaigns and run so many campaigns by the time I started my own agency that I just thought I could do it. And then I built this whole team of people once I started taking clients on. But then I realized, number one, the work that they were putting out wasn't what I needed or wanted. It wasn't I guess I had too many people doing one job. So I was actually overworking some jobs where I shouldn't have been. So I'm overspending there. I had some people that we weren't really keeping track of their time as well as I should have been. And we overpaid them like $2,500 one month. So there are, and that's the thing, there are obstacles no matter how successful your business may look on the outside, that business has gone through something that has set them back before. You know, I don't think there's a single business out there that can just say, yeah, we've just coasted and we're at 7 figs now. So what are you doing? Like, if there is, I want to know what it is, because I want to do that. I would much rather do that and just coast to 7 figures, but everybody would do that, right? So that doesn't exist. So, you know, that's the thing. I think everybody has that struggle, especially with building the team part. Is one of the things that I realized over this last year is actually one of the more important things about starting your agency. The outsourcing, building a team, building processes and workflows. That's why when we did our 2.0 release for the digital marketing school, we put so much emphasis just into the operations and management side of things, and it was because of all the struggle that I went through trying to get that perfected. And we spent, just on building our processes this year, we've spent $65,000, and I'll spend another $30,000 before the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So 95 grand just on building processes for an agency to work properly. But that's the cool thing, is we're going to take it and bundle it up and obviously sell it to people, because we can literally take this and sell it to you now, and you can implement it into your agency. But
right.
Have you heard of Process Street, by the way?
I haven't. Process Street? No, software?
Yes.
Oh, dude, why you got to throw more software at me like that, bro?
What does your ops guy use right now?
I'm gonna write it down real quick.
What does your ops guy use right now?
We use Asana. Process Street.
When you get like 10 minutes one day, let's have a call and I'll show you what we've done. It's amazing, but that's why I said we've cut down our lead times and our cost of operations by 75% because of this software and what we're able to do with it. We connect it with Asana and Zapier, but it is amazing. So yeah, when you get 10 minutes, let's run through that sometime. I know you'll enjoy it.
That is disgusting. I love it. Dude, okay, so I know we're coming to the hour. I actually have another call right after this. So what I want to do is make sure everyone can go find you. So I'll link this in the description after. You can just shoot it to me a messenger. But where can everyone find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you or look at you?
Best way would just go to Serial Entrepreneur, cereal like the food, serialentrepreneur.academy. You can just go there. That's our website. We have a messenger chat bubble at the bottom, so you can shoot us a message there. Obviously, we're on YouTube. The brand name is the same wherever you go. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is where we post content every single week. We have over 275 videos and articles out on our blog. That's pretty much all training on digital marketing and starting an agency. So if you want a comprehensive guide and you don't want to necessarily buy a course just yet, that's all you really need. So that's pretty much it. But anyways, Rob, I really appreciate you bringing me on. I always love doing these things with guys. And to be honest with you, to close it out, I will say it was cool to see you doing your thing, because I remember you actually reached out to me a long time ago when you were first starting, and you were telling me about your agency in a box thing. And I get so many people at this point who reach out to me and they're like, I got this really cool idea, this really cool business, and I'm going to start it up. And so a lot of the people in the beginning, I have to and it's not mean or me trying to be mean, but I have to kind of blow it off, because it's just not worth the time, because I get so many requests. And then to see you stick through it and keep going, and then you start getting all these sales for Agency in a Box, and you start doing well for the customers or the students of Agency in a Box. It was cool to see you grow too, because you kind of came in after me, where I had already kind of seen a little bit of the success from it. And then I got to watch you go through your, little transition to where now you're running a bigger transition and seeing a lot more success. So it's been awesome seeing you grow too. So anyways, thank you for bringing me on and be able to, talk to your followers in your group.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. We'll talk about doing some other stuff we talked about before the call, which, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, we got some shit coming your way. We won't drop right now, but it's going to be pretty fucking cool.
Not just yet, but in the future.
Not just yet. So awesome, guys. Appreciate you. Oh, Shelton was just like, I'm that call. Take care.
So make sure you're there.
That's hilarious.
All right. I'll let him go so you can talk to him.
All right. Later, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.